Listen, I have an idea.
It's how I feel when you make lemonade. Whatever today has given you. 511 headaches, still call it Thanksgiving. True.
Welcome to another edition of the Super Duper Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Briggs, the super producer, as McMahon.
Yes. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
I'm feeling good as Alexis Field looks. How about yourself?
I am doing very well. Glad to be here.
Oh,
Yes.
inside joke. Hey,
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Super Duper Podcast. We do not take your listens lightly. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Super Duper Pod, SUPADPAPOD, and on all socials, SUPADPAPOD. What up, Sarah? And online at HP53productions.com for our herch. Still gotta fix that. Additional contents such as the Easy Smoking Gym podcast. And you guys talk this week?
We did talk.
Okay.
What did we talk about though? I gotta think
Championship?
back. We did talk about right. We talked right. Yeah. Wait, we led off with women's basketball. We talked about the Iowa South Carolina game.
Bruh,
South
do you
Carolina
understand?
winning.
Monday's game was a historical game, like back-to-back champs. I didn't even remember to watch this game. I got YouTube TV on the phone. I didn't even think about watching this game, man.
I watched it because I had a couple of ducats on it, and
Sure, facts.
what did I do? It was a parlay with UConn winning by 9.5. Took care of that, but I took the over, and and they came in 9 points. The over under was 143.5. They came in 9 points below, so I lost.
No, that's how it is.
So yeah, so that's why I watched the game. But yeah, you're right. And I did. Guess what? I did watch the women's game.
Same here. I was at a
Yeah.
Cubs game,
Right.
and it got rained out, and we went in the box. Shout out to the box. Shout out to Broski. He was with me. And while we waited on the see that we have the game, everybody was watching the basketball game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but again, I point out to Broski, there was people in there like just talking like, Caitlin, look at her, she keeps shooting. Caitlin, I was like, I told Broski, this is why I watch the Super Bowl by myself, because I don't want to hear people saying stupid stuff just while I watch the game. Like, if you watch the sport, cool, I'm with you. Okay, but if you just showing up just because it was trending, I can't do it with you now. I just can't. Don't eat the hot dogs, please. But make sure you check out
good game.
Yeah.
And I watched, man. I called our guy Marshall for his birthday.
Oh yeah, birthday, Marshall.
Asked him, happy birthday, yes, sir. And asked him, what you doing, man? So I'm just watching this game. I was like, wow, who would have known? And
man.
18.6 million people watched that game on Sunday. So
now the ratings, was that the most ratings of any NCAA game, or just a women's game? Just a women's game. Yeah, because that night, that Magic Bird game, that's the highest rated game, right? Yeah. So highest women's game.
But it outrated the men's championship game.
I mean, that's not surprising. We just talked about it. They went back-to-back championships. We forgot to watch it. I mean, you want to watch because you have money on it.
Yeah.
But but I feel like people start making a decision like the women's game is better. I don't think it's a better thing.
No. You know what it was?
Yeah.
Star power.
That's all it is. And listen, I think these dudes are going to go to college now, because we talked about this last week, because the G League Ignite is no more. So it's like they get the NIL money. As you and I, we do this all the time. We talk about it, people act like, oh yeah, I think I'm talking about, and then it happens in the news. And we trying to tell y'all, Cooper Flag. Now, obviously, he gonna come out, but he going to school, and whoever else. It was some 7'1" dude I saw on the internet the other day, yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? Some young black guy. It's dudes, they going to college now, and them games about to be through the roof. And some dudes gonna stay 2 years.
Yeah.
Some might stay 3. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you look at UConn; those guys weren't necessarily like. I'm sure that dude with Klingon, whatever his name is, he probably gonna go pro just because. Why not?
No, he's going. I think he's going back.
Oh, what year is he?
I think he's a. I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure he's going back.
You think, yeah, Zach Edey. I mean, he can't. He like a
Well, no,
six.
he's going to
He
the
got to
league.
go. Yeah, he got. I mean, somebody will pick him up. You know what I mean? And they can't wait to dunk on him. So
I think
yikes.
he's going. I think he's going to be an all right pro.
I think so too, because people are acting like he's just gonna be. I'm still saying people gonna dunk on him, but I still think they're just gonna come for him to dunk on him. But I
Yeah,
still think he's gonna be a solid pro. Because I mean, you big,
you got
Francie.
all these people talking about. Oh, he doesn't fit the NBA game. Man, dog is 7'4".
He'll
He
find a
going
place.
he gonna go inside. He gonna dominate on offense. Yes, he might get exposed on defense sometimes,
He gonna
but
put
he
50 on
gonna
somebody. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna say he gonna put 50 on nobody, but
No, but I'm saying after he kind of gets his bearing. I'm not saying year one, but I'm saying like at some point I can see him putting a 50 ball
but
if he know
yeah,
what he's doing.
hey, 7'4" is 7'4". He gonna
Facts.
find a spot.
Facts.
Klingon is a sophomore.
Oh yeah, oh, so he's staying.
Yeah,
Shoot,
yeah,
man, UConn might go back to, you know what I mean? Back to back. Who
yeah.
knows? Y'all saw John Calipari, he left
Kentucky.
air quotes Kentucky
Yeah.
and back in Arkansas. But it's like, that they say we don't get Danny Hurley. I'm like, man,
No,
Danny Hurley
he's
smart.
not
He
leaving
ain't leaving,
UConn.
nor should he.
He's
But I
not
heard
leaving
he wanted
UConn.
to coach the Knicks. I was like, well, what you doing, man?
No, he don't
Stay
want
in
to.
the college
No,
life, bro. You don't want that, dog.
he knows where he knows what's best for him. I don't think he has the temperament to be an NBA coach.
Yeah, because
That's a
you
different deal.
can't be yelling at the kids like that.
Right,
You grown
right,
man,
right,
man.
right.
So, again, make sure you check out all our content on hp53productions.com. So, as well, we had, because I was going to say it's a sad day. I know some people may not think it's a sad day. Shout out to Caitlyn Jenner, who put on Twitter good riddance when the word came out that OJ Simpson passed away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he passed away today of, I think, of prostate cancer. He was
Man.
76, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's something, man. So I know, OJ passed, and we know why he's a polarizing figure. And of course, his family's mourning his loss right now. And it's like I read a couple news outlets, and they jumped right to the Nicole Simpson, murder, and all that stuff. And of course, I know you have to tell the story, but I remember when Kobe died, and there was this woman reporter, and it was like literally like we had just found out, is right, the helicopter had just crashed. We got all the, what I'm saying, it's like it's the news is getting out, they're doing the radio shows. And one woman was like, well, no, I have to talk about Colorado. And I was like, dude, we literally just found out he died. Do you really gotta mention Colorado right now? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, and the host was like, do we have to? She's like, I mean, we have to. Why do we have to mention it right now? Let's say it didn't happen. So same thing with OJ. If you watch the documentary, you know he did it. But I mean, at this point, because if you watched it, you know he did it. Definitely did it. Y'all whisper twice.
But
I mean, if you watched it, listen, it's the greatest documentary
oh,
ever
hands
made.
down. Please, if you haven't seen it,
ESPN 30 for 30,
30 for
man.
30 Made in
Whew.
America is
It's literally the
I was
best.
talking to a coworker today, and I said, maybe you can put one of the Kim Burns documentaries up there.
That's facts,
I
man.
love Vietnam, the Vietnam War documentary that Kim Burns did.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that. Outside of that, I think this is the best documentary of any form ever done
Bruh,
in the history of that genre of film.
because it's like I like the stuff where it's like you think you know something, like you think you know about OJ or just that stuff. You ain't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it's
But the
like my man took it from the beginning to the end, but not necessarily chronologically per se, just the impact of story. Like I like how the last dance was portrayed, right? And still
they were in 98, but they took you back
yeah.
his
It's
entire
like
career.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that OJ Simpson documentary literally is the best documentary ever made. It won an Oscar, right?
It did. It did.
I mean,
Ezra Edelman is the director of it. He did
I
a
just
outstanding job on it.
I just remember, dog. I know I've said it before in the pod. I couldn't sleep one night. put on episode 1. Guess what I did is watched all of them.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm not. You just like, wait, what?
In
You
fact,
know what I mean?
I'm probably gonna go back this weekend and watch it again because
Hey,
it's
it's
so
it's
good.
it's it's a great watch, and even the FX show with Cuba Gooding Jr. that was great.
That was
I don't know
good.
if you
That was
saw
good.
that. It
Yeah, I
was
did.
good,
I
but
did.
nothing beat that documentary because you really get a real picture. Because again, like I think it's funny how we see celebrities now. Like for example, we talked when John Madden died, and how some people just saw him as a broadcaster, and some like that's or they only
That's
knew
all I
his name
saw.
from the
Well, that's
game,
all.
right?
That's all we would have known because we didn't know him as the coach.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But you think about the older people who knew John Madden as a coach and all the way through. And so like
and
even when OJ stuff, we didn't all we knew was OJ as like, the celebrity guy, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? People
the
love him and he's on TV all
I
the
knew
time.
him as the NFL commentator.
Yeah,
He was on ABC and NBC, and then I knew him as the movie star, the guy from the Naked
yeah,
Gun.
yeah,
That's how I knew him. And then
yeah.
I also knew, obviously we didn't see him play, but you saw the
Like it's
NFL
just stuff.
films highlights and all
Yeah.
that. And
And he was
and back
nice.
then, before the murders, when you talked about the greatest running backs of all time, it was Jim Brown, it was Walter Payton, and it was O.J. Simpson.
So do people not talk about I know your football is one of your bags, so people don't talk about him as the
People
greatest
don't
anymore?
know. No. Now you'll hear, you get the caveat, well, we got to
Anthony
bring it up.
Orenthal. Yeah, yeah,
He was pretty damn good.
yeah.
But he's not like, when you bring that position up, you don't hear him talked about in like the top 5, top 10, I don't think. Not
Yeah.
like you did before all this went down.
Yeah. And
So
so
that affected it.
Mashable did an article just about how the OJ trial was a foreshadowing of internet culture, right? And we know internet culture now to be, you know, like shout out to TMZ, right? It's like something happens. Well, I mean, perfect example is OJ, right? Somebody sent the text that he died. I searched and got the TMZ link, and that's when I knew it was official, right?
Okay.
And just in the last few years, the internet culture is like the news is up there, up to the minute, yada yada yada. And it's something that's just 30 years ago. In
Yeah.
June, it'd be 30 years.
30 is crazy.
When I saw that, blew my mind. Because I remember
Crazy.
vividly, I remember
We
sitting on
were
the couch watching the finals and being like, why they got this? It was like a picture, the picture, and pictures like, what is happening to my TV? And it's
I
just like, it's to your point. We talk about you didn't, you knew, you kind of loosely knew OJ. It was like, why is it such a big deal? He in a white truck. Wait, he in a truck and he running from the law? What is happening?
No,
Go ahead, you
I
got
I
your point.
I remember that day like it was yesterday, man.
Yeah.
Um, and if there's another documentary, another 30 for 30 called
Mm.
June 17th, 1994.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah.
they basically document the day of the Bronco chase. But there was so much stuff going on in the sports world that day. World Cup soccer, the opening ceremonies were at Soldier Field.
Mm-hmm.
My dad took me to that earlier in the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I remember, as we're going to the game, you heard the report on the radio that O.J. Simpson was a fugitive because we had known about the murders. We knew that he was in Chicago. He was in Chicago for a Hertz golf outing,
Mm.
and they made him fly back to California. And so days passed, and then he was supposed to turn himself in, and he didn't turn himself in when he was supposed to. So he was a
Mm.
fugitive. But they were looking for OJ. So we did the game. I remember my uncle was in the hospital at the time. We went to go see my uncle. And then we went to my other uncle's house to watch the game that night, game 5, Knicks Rockets.
Mm.
And that's when, the chase started and they went to the split screen,
Yeah.
right, of the chase. And then they went from the game totally. And it was
Yeah,
it
because
was all it was all OJ.
I remember thinking like, I want to see the game. I don't care about this truck.
No,
What is
you know what?
happening?
I was
Catch
opposite,
him.
man. I was like, I felt because I'm like, man, that's OJ.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan of him just because of his, like I said, as a football commentator and as the movie star. I was like, man, that's OJ. And
Man.
and I'm worried about him in his truck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, he's
Like that
running from
hurt.
the law. Go, OJ, go.
Dude, you weren't the only one. People's holding up signs. it's wild because so it's like the news was the first like they had the helicopters and it's
Right,
like it's all
right,
over the news. So
right.
people, I guess people out there knew to go. I'm about to say news was the first internet or social media, but it's like it's all you
That's
had.
all
So
we
you in
had back then.
California, people
Yeah,
just running to the high, knew what highway he was on. People had go OJ, go sign, they rooting
yeah,
him on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And like think about it now. If they knew what he was running from, they're like, oh, I ain't mean to be going. Go shit. They ain't know because we didn't know. All you knew was the law was at the OJ. People didn't like the police, and they after a
right,
black man. Go
right,
OJ.
right.
That's all it was. And so it's hard to fathom, especially with people. So again, especially people who are not even 30, right? Like all the life they know is just constant news. You kind of got the story. Like, for example, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Like, in about an hour or two
Everybody
of
knew
it happened,
it was
and
everywhere.
we knew the details of everything
Yeah,
for the most part. Like with OJ, it was like it's hard to remember. We really like I mean, we made a joke out of it, but it's true. You were like, they had to OJ. They must be. They can't be at the OJ. It's OJ and people get to Mexico, Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. And like now it'll be like, hey, reports are he murdered his, allegedly murdered his wife and her lover. It'll be like, ooh, when nobody went on the street. It just would have been like, OJ, I got a picture. I'll take a picture of OJ. But just that documentary you talked about in ESPN and also with his Mashable article just kind of highlights how that event of in and of itself kind of sparked how we view the internet and news nowadays, right? News wasn't necessarily 24 hours like that, but then this trial happens and you don't want to miss. I mean, you think this Trump 2020 election was something, and it with the 24, the OJ trial
it
was
was
like
everything.
it was nonstop
Yeah,
TV, and then we picking sides, and it was like it became a racial thing. You know what I'm saying? You got Johnny Cochran, you guys play and then OJ himself, he's a lightning rod. The crime. So it was like, yo, you just wanted a piece of the news, so every little piece you got. Like it would take it for
the
granted. You get any news now. Back then, you just had to wait. And so there are different channels popping up trying to give you the
court
news.
TV was started
Yeah.
because of the O.J. Simpson trial. So we got to see it was for the first time we got to see the entire a trial in its entirety. And
And
this
that's the thing
trial,
too.
this wasn't like some 2-week trial.
Nah,
This
long
trial went on for
drive.
months, man.
And people were watching it, riveted, watching it. I
Every
remember
day.
vividly when the verdict came. I was in my high school
Yeah.
administrative office picking up something, and they read the verdict that it was like he's not guilty, and I was like, "Yeah, Black Power," and the white people were like, "No," and it was like crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like again, not a documentary, but it's just different. But truly,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, it was, it wasn't the documentary. I think over time, I think that changed. I think I was
now,
that
for me, I ain't gonna lie. For me, it was because
it was a
again,
documentary.
I think because it was once it happened, he was out then. He was just doing stupid stuff when he was. And listen, I don't even. Again, that's how I'm knowing I was 15. It was out of my hair because like
Yeah.
all the interviews he was doing and subsequently, I didn't see none of those when he was like the book. I ain't know about the book. If I did it,
If I did it,
if
yeah,
I did it,
yeah,
it was like he really wrote this book. If I did it,
yeah,
dog, you wildin'. So I think I just wasn't even because you think what? That's 97, 98. We in college by then. Psh, I'm in Massachusetts.
yeah,
Okay, he out. Well,
yeah.
what y'all want me to do? But it's just something of how much when something happens, again, you look at Diddy, right? We, how much we know. If Diddy, wasn't nobody at Diddy house like, go Diddy, go Diddy, they after you. It was like, nah, bro. He did this. Here's this case. Here are these videos. That just wasn't happening. But I'm sure, like professional athletes, a lot of professional athletes, like, whew, I'm so glad there was social media when I was around
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it'd be curtains. But OJ, he has passed, and I'm sure his family is in mourning. And I know people go. That's already people throwing jokes. I was going to text thread that said OJ riding the Bronco in heaven. I was like, see y'all wilding, dog. I mean, y'all, just let the man. I mean, let the man
oh
rest, man.
man.
Like for real, it's just yeah. He went to jail, and they threw everything at him. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Well,
and I was,
that was interesting.
yeah,
That whole situation. He clearly he was convicted based on what happened,
yeah.
years prior with the murders.
Hmm.
He didn't go to prison for the armed robbery. He went,
Yeah.
by the way, get his own stuff. He went to prison because he got off in California, and the people in Nevada said, "No, that ain't happening here.
Yeah.
We gonna get you," and they did.
And I will say the one thing that sticks out from a documentary, right, more than anything else, and it's just how OJ built his life, not being, trying to be everything but black, right? None of that say, it's
Colorless.
yeah, I'm not a black
I'm
person.
not black. I'm OJ.
I'm OJ, and like it was working for him for a minute, but then once he got in the jam, right, and then he's like, I need the black people
I
to help
did
me out.
that.
And and I think that's something that happens a lot, right? It's like, you look at it. I mean, I say it's often like, I don't know if people watch the awards like they do now, but before it would be like, when a star made it, they stopped going to the BET Awards.
Mhm.
Before they kind of popped, they was at the BET Awards, not missing a year, showing up to get the award. Now, once they cross over and they at the MTV joints, and they go to the Met Gala, and it was like, oh, so and so can't be here. We're gonna take some behalf, and they won 7 awards, but it's like you're not there. And it's like that's something that I hate that we do, but that's what happens, right? It's like you get up. Once I'm up, I can move on and not be part of this. But once I'm down, I need y'all back in my corner to back me, and we did. People did, you know what I'm saying? And Johnny Cochran kind of played that up, and he got him off, man. And,
Well,
and it's like,
that
yeah,
you had it, played into what
and
had happened in
in the
recent history
history,
in
yeah, the
LA.
riots, right.
Latasha Harlins,
Hmm.
um, Rodney King, and the riots that happened, after that verdict came out with
Yeah.
the police officers, and all of that fed into, you know, the what was going on with the OJ trial. So
It was funny. Well, it's funny is not the word I'm looking for, but like when the riots happened in 92 again, we in Chicago and we see it, it's like, man, that's wild. And we, what, 13,
yeah,
12 years old.
yeah,
But then when the pandemic happened and there were riots, it was like, dog, this is you feel it. You know what I'm saying? They had the trucks. I remember vividly driving down Jeffrey Boulevard. I remember because they was looting the Walgreens. And I was like, well, the police ain't around. I do need some toothbrush. I do need some toothpaste and a toothbrush. I mean, when I was an agent, just I come out with this. Oh, hell got
woo!
me put. Just oh, so I ain't gonna lie, I thought
all
about
I
it. I
all I
thought about
got
it. I
was
ain't
some
gonna lie.
Colgate.
Yo, bro, it was already open, fam. Ah, how much space to my mama? Like, ah,
Oh
I was
man,
just getting some toothpaste. But no, yeah, but it's like, it was wild, right? It's like people looting, driving through. They blocking off grocery stores, you know what I'm saying? Like, that had to be wild in 92. And then you follow this up with the OJ trial. It just was nuts in
yeah,
California,
yeah,
or LA specifically, right? And you just forget how, again, I'm excited well, excited is the wrong word, but, I'm looking forward to the documentary about the pandemic that we're going to see to be like, what? I didn't know that was happening. And we're living in it, or to see how we're affected by that.
yeah. It's coming.
Yeah. Because Spike Lee did a documentary around September 11th, right?
Hmm.
And that came out in the pandemic. So this is what, 20 years later. And it was really like, it was still gut wrenching, right? But it was still like a beautiful thing because you remember where you were, and we were old enough where it's like, okay, I can put context around this. It's not
Absolutely,
like,
yeah,
because I'm sure my children, the chipmunks, are not like, oh, it was a pandemic. We had to mask up. They're just gonna remember we had to wear masks a lot, right? That's
yeah.
probably, and I'll probably have to explain to them like, well, this is what was happening. They know what COVID is, right? Because they've had it, and it's kind of like people around them have had it, so they know that COVID's pretty bad. The mask kind of help, but not like all of it in context. It's like they might need something to help them see
Mm.
this is what you
Once
were
they, you
living
know
with.
what though, once they get older, they might,
They might understand it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. But no, but that's the point. I think they'll need something to help them put it put it in context for them, right?
Right,
Because
right.
they're just living their life. Like, when you look, I remember looking at like stuff. My dad, it's hard for him to look at like a civil rights documentary because he'll see like, how Jim Crow in action and how they mistreated black. He gets teary eyed, he gets angry all over. And it's wild because so my dad grew up in Tennessee.
So
It was like, go
he
ahead.
lived it.
He lived it. And it was the
Yeah,
blatant, like, you were N-word, you come up with we stealing from you. He had to some white guys ran up on him. My dad don't take that. Him and his brother, God bless my uncle, his soul, and some other guys jump out the car ready to fight. Some black folks told him to drive. They had to drive through the backwoods and hide for a night.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's real stuff. But
yeah,
then like the other side of it is my mother. When you talk to her about it, when she lived in Mississippi, she had 12 brothers and sisters. And so like where they lived, it's like they just stayed in their side of town. You know what I'm saying? So like she was like, yeah, I knew there was racism. Like, my mother, her mother, my grandmother was calling a young white woman ma'am. My mother was like, that's stupid. She my age. Why are you calling her ma'am? But it wasn't as like, she was like, I knew we were poor. I knew that white people kind of had some power, but we didn't mix with them like that, right? So for her, the racism was just like, you just don't deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you stay where you gotta stay, you'll be fine. But my dad, the way his life was, he had to mix with them, just the way the system was set up. He could not live separately from them. And so then he lived it. And so like that's why, you can watch a movie about civil rights. They can watch it, but they both have different experiences with it. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Not to say my mother didn't experience racism and Jim Crow. It just was a little bit different than what my father experienced,
right,
And
right.
so, I kind of look, because even now, like you see a 90s documentary, a 2000s one, and you're just like, man, that was really like, wow. And it's good to have this content. That's why history is to me, one of my favorite subjects, even though I'm a math guy and a psychology guy. History was my favorite subject. That's why we love having Dr. Williams on, because it helps you just put things in context. And that's why telling the correct history is important, because you'll have people out here thinking the wrong thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like you have people out here thinking, some people go tell their kids OJ was wronged by the law and they chased him out, but he beat the man. No, bro. That ain't it.
Not exactly.
Got some stuff, man. Yeah, I think that's what's up out, man. Yeah, but I mean, hey, still, rest in peace, OJ. And it's like that whole thing just I mean, I think he's the most polarizing figure in US history outside of Benedict Arnold. You know what I'm saying? It's like truly.
No,
It
I don't know.
who?
Benedict Arnold, I don't think it's polarizing. We
Oh
think of
yeah, we
him
know
as
he's
just a
straight. That's
he's
true.
just a straight traitor.
So it's straight. It's
I
right. It's
think
straight
it's
up
OJ.
OJ
I
then,
think you're
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Because I mean, who else is on the list? I mean, Diddy now.
Well, no, Trump.
Oh, yeah. But see, and yeah, captivating orange. But it's like I think the OJ thing was really like, hey man, pick a side, bro.
But
You know what I
OJ is
mean?
definitely he's definitely on the list.
So Trump is on the list. So OJ,
Um,
Trump. I don't think R. Kelly's that polarizing, so he's off the list. Michael Jackson?
no,
No.
no.
So
Uh,
I know PT listen. He's screaming at his phone right now.
I
So
can't. Yeah,
OJ, Trump. I mean,
yeah.
that's a good one though. Who were the most polarizing figures in American history? Richard
Uh,
Nixon?
no. I don't think nobody really liked Nixon
Nah,
after everything happened.
not George,
Uh,
not George H.W. So this might be just okay.
yeah, I
You
don't.
might
Yeah.
have to edit this out. You just have to edit this out. Martin Luther King?
No, I'm not going. No.
No, because now hear me out though.
No.
In the 60s, people didn't
Back
like
then,
him.
maybe, yeah, but
That's what I'm saying.
today
No,
he's
no,
off
no.
the
Okay.
yeah, no,
So,
yeah.
so I guess, I'm to the point. I'm okay. Okay. So when I'm saying polarized, I'm not necessarily like they are still polarizing today because we have history to see. Like, but I'm saying who were
At that, you know what?
polarizing
Back then,
figures.
yeah, because there were even black people that weren't
That's the
backing
point I'm
Dr. King.
making. Yeah, yeah. So I'm right. Okay, you keep that
I
in.
hear where you're
You
going
keep
now.
that in.
Okay,
Woo.
all right,
Eh, made me nervous there, bro.
all right.
So yeah, yeah.
Today though, no, that's
But today, yeah, today,
no,
absolutely not. I mean,
no,
he's whitewashed, but that's
yeah.
another thing. That's another story. You talk about that on the King Day. But yeah, man, but that's interesting exercise, saying who to polarize the figure, because OJ is definitely number one. Because nobody, I mean, Kanye, you know what I mean?
I don't think he's really. Mm,
There's a point. I think he's polarizing. It was like
yeah.
because I think you got to say, all right, when you bring his name up, does it cause some discourse of, you know, whose
Mhm.
side you on? So
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
OJ, that's Trump, that's
Because you
Jay.
think you like, man, he's a real jackass, but college dropout was freaking outstanding.
Yeah, right. OJ, he might have done it, but man, he's the greatest running back ever. You know
Damn,
what
he
I'm
could
saying?
run.
Man,
He
he can
ran for
run, boy.
2,000 yards.
In Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? Doggone. So, but seriously, all jokes aside, um, peace and condolences to his family, because no matter who we may think he is, he's still their family member, and
Absolutely.
he's now going on. So, shout out to that. You're right. Transition. So as this week we had the solar eclipse. Did you watch it?
Yes,
You go outside
I
and watch it?
did. I got outside right in time,
Yeah.
and a nice person gave me their extra glasses,
Oh, that's nice.
and yeah, I got to see the solar eclipse, man. It was pretty awesome.
So a few days before, I was thinking, let me, because I wasn't gonna get the glasses. I was like, I'm just staying in the house. I remember we talked about it at work. I was in the crib thinking, like, let me get these glasses for my parents, because I know my dad. Hey, what's going on outside? So I was like, let me
Don't
let,
look
like,
up.
don't look what's happening. My mother like, what you looking at? Now I got another problem on my hands. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
Oh man,
let me order these
you
glasses.
wrong, man. You wrong.
And I told him to their face too. I said, let me go order these glasses. Uh, so I got them, took them to the house, right? Now, mind you, I took them to the crib, to my parents' house, and I visit my parents every weekend. And my pops, I never put them on. I just took them out the box, gave him, "Hey, Dad, here's your glass." So he put them on. He's like, "Son, I can't see nothing out the glass." I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I didn't think you could not see nothing."
Nah,
So
that was the point. Yeah.
we did a whole test. We like put them on. You can only see light bulbs. I say you can only see the sun. He was like, "Son, I'm glad you gave me glasses. I'm glad I brought them over too, because y'all showed up would have been outside." And I remember the day of the eclipse. I'm working from home that day. I was like, "Why are my lights so bright? Why is it dark out?" Oh, the eclipse. Went outside with my glasses, looked up in the sky, went, "Huh? Guess that's it, huh?" So went back inside. But I mean, it seemed like it was a great time. The kids got
I,
to see it. Schools made a big deal out of it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, I was so glad because I remember the maybe not the last time, but we were in high school that happened. We had a partial eclipse.
I thought it was, yeah.
And so we went outside and they showed us a way that you could see it. We didn't have glasses. So they
Then
showed
you
us a
have to
way you
like
could
watch it
see it with
backwards or
paper.
something. Okay, you
You
cut
could
a hole in it, push a hole in it.
yeah, yeah, and then you could see it was either through the paper on the ground or whatever it was. And I was like, man, it's some BS.
But I must
I
say,
thought
with the
that was whack.
glasses,
But then yeah,
this is
this time
real.
around, and you know what? I was like, man, this is whatever. I'm not even thinking about this. I was working. And then I was like, you know what? And I saw on TV the total eclipses. They were in Dallas. I was watching, I think, NBC, and they were in Dallas, and it went, pitch black there. And I was like, wait a minute, let me go check this out.
Yeah.
Because I work in a basement and work in a studio that's in the basement, so we don't have windows. So
Oh wow.
I couldn't tell what was going on outside. So I went
Sure.
upstairs
Yeah.
and you could tell that I mean, it wasn't, like I said, we weren't in a place where it was a total eclipse, but you
Mhm.
could tell that the lighting
Yeah, it was getting
outside
brighter,
was
right?
was different. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
different, man. I almost saw like a different type of tint almost.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And so I was like, I gotta check this out. I went out there, man, like I said, and somebody gave me the glasses, and I was so happy they did
Whoa,
that,
you
man.
was just gonna go out there and brave it? You was gonna look
Well, no, I
like,
wasn't gonna look up.
okay,
I knew not to look up.
you just was
I
gonna
was
be
just
around.
looking,
Okay.
just being around, looking around. And yeah, they gave me the glasses and I looked up. I was like, wow, that's incredible.
It was something to see, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so kids' school both schools made a big deal out of it. It was like, sign up if they can watch it, because if not, they're not going outside.
Yeah.
And like I said, I got my parents the glasses. I took one of my sister and her husband, because her husband, he's a little older. And I was like, we were talking about it. She's like, yeah, let me get one of these glasses. Because he gonna be like, he gonna look up like, what's happening?
Oh man.
Yo, so I'm looking at this site, man. It says a solar eclipse actually is a numerous thing. They have 2 to 4 per year. But it's like, but the area on the ground covered by totality is only about 50 miles wide. In any given location on Earth, a total eclipse happens only once every 100 years or so. Though for
Okay.
selected locations, they can occur as little as a few years apart. So I guess,
Well, again, we
wait,
had one in 2017, I think.
yeah. And they're saying this year's eclipse was so special because it will be visible to tens of millions of people in North America. 31 million people live in the path of totality within the United States. I mean, some people said they saw that, man. But I
Yeah, yeah.
mean, that's something. So the rarest eclipse is the hybrid solar eclipse. Partial eclipse is the most common type, but a hybrid solar eclipse is the rarest type, is witnessed when an eclipse shifts between annular and total as the shadow of the moon moves across the globe. Yeah, that's some Jesus coming back type stuff. So yeah, man.
What have you heard some of the stories from
What?
like ancient times when,
Mm-mm.
these types of eclipses happen?
Okay.
Eclipse, is that did I say it right? These types
Uh,
of
you said
eclipse,
the clips. I mean, you grinding.
eclipses,
Eclipse eyes. Okay,
eclipse
I'm joking. I know.
eyes, yeah, whatever it is. Anyway, I think like in ancient China, they said
Eclipse eyes.
they thought that dragons were eating the sun.
Oh my God.
There was one, I heard one thing where in ancient, it was either, I think it was ancient Greece, it stopped a war.
It was like, stop, wait. I was
Wait
about
a
to stab
minute.
you. Look at the
Look at
sun.
this.
It's like, let's shake hands. We had to fight it. We had to fight the world, brother.
This is not worth it. It ended the war.
He's like, don't stab me. No, I'll kill you. No, the sun. No. Yes. No.
And so clearly, I'm glad I saw it, man. I had that type of, I would have stopped fighting.
Because especially you don't know what's happening. It's like, hold on,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Hold on, dog. We got to fight together. We're gonna need everybody stop. We need all our resources to fight whatever's eating the sun right now.
So I'm glad I experienced it, but man, the next one I think they said is going to be in 2044. That's going
Mhm.
to be visible in North America, and then Chicago, which really made me kind of sad. The next time Chicago will see a total eclipse,
Yeah.
2099.
Man,
I
might not
don't, I
make it.
don't I don't think I'm gonna be there.
But that's 55 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I mean, they might have technology. I might be a robot by then. Welcome to the Super Duper Podcast. Our 60th anniversary. Jeez.
So yeah, that made me think about some things like, ooh, man, okay,
Yeah, man. Yeah, get your life in order, man. But
yeah,
but again, it's just cool when you can experience stuff like this. And a lot of times now with the kids, it's just trying to like create experiences for them. Because you think about all the stuff you did when you were younger, like that kind of you just it was just cool to do it. Maybe it wasn't that big. Like for example, one thing I think about often is my sister took me and Jabs and my niece to the Bulls championship rally. Like I'll never forget that, man. That's probably
yeah,
why I'm a big NBA fan to this day. Like I just remember that like it was a special moment. It was never going, it's like this is the first championship we ever won, and we just with all these people, and it was like I will never ever forget that, man. I feel like we have to do things like that for our kids. Just let them experience. You never know, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what this, I mean, it's just a nice memory to have that you were out there, out and about. 'Cause I thought about like, man, it's probably a parent that's like, no, my son will look at the eclipse. My daughter will look at the eclipse, and everybody else, like, I literally signed it was like, I don't want them the only ones in the classroom. I was like, here, man, y'all enjoy this eclipse.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But I think you just in life, it's okay to experience. Now I know that people who like drove down to Indiana and camped out. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I think yeah,
But I think it's cool though.
I think Indianapolis was in the path,
The total.
and that's 3 hours away, man.
Yeah,
That ain't
man.
nothing.
So I definitely think it's cool to do stuff like that, and we should try to do more stuff like that. I think I've been thinking about that myself. Just you kind of get so wrapped up in being busy and living and doing was trying to trying to make it day to day that you forget like there are a lot of special things that are outside that are passing us by that we could just sit and experience. It's not always expensive, right? I'm not talking about $1,000 concert ticket. It's just you looking up at the sky, you're
Yeah,
talking about the
yeah,
eclipse and looking at the next one. When's that coming? Your kids are going to be older, like 20, 44, whatever, something you said. Like, my kids will be adults.
yeah,
God willing, you know what I'm saying? God willing got families. And that's like I'm pawpaw by then. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Right? Um, but yeah, man. So I'm sure you guys have got your own solar eclipse stories. Feel free to let us know on Instagram. So as a couple more things we get out of here, man. Um, so I've been thinking just about like the older we get and God, how busy kind of to that last point. We stay busy, we kind of keep busy. And I know a lot of times like I've been feeling like I'm just kind of getting through the day, like skating through, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so many things to do, so many things to get done, and you kind of lose sight of what you need to do for yourself. And I thought about like somebody put me on this a long time ago, how having a routine to start your day, how that's beneficial for you. And what I mean by that is like, it's something that you have to do every day. Like, I had a routine where like I would pray, I read my Bible, I try to read another book, I try to work out, read chapters of a book of two books, like one chapter, do Duolingo for 10 minutes and practice the drum, like my little drums exercises. Like when I looked up all the minutes, it was an hour, right? And it's like if I did these things, I've accomplished my day. You see what I'm saying? But it's like for whatever reason, it would be hard to do that. It would be hard to do the stuff. Like now, I'm very open about my Instagram intake, and so that's how to make me feel some kind of way because I'm on Instagram for 8 hours. I mean, it's 7 days in a week, so clearly I could have knocked out my entire routine if for fruitful. And I will say, like, when I did it for a while, and I would feel like, man, the things I want to get done today, I got done today. So when I did everything else fell in line. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I was trying to grasp at something. Like that's why people stay up late because it's like they feel like they didn't get to do something they want to do all day. So the Northwestern Medicine website kind of gives us some reasons why routines can be enjoyable. So just really briefly, like providing structured organization routines can improve your health in various ways. So one, it's helps manage stress more effectively. It helps you put things at ease. It can lead to better mental health, more time to relax, and less anxiety. Because again, you know, sometimes you wake up and it's just like you just running for the day versus like if I do things a certain way, right? I plan for this to happen. I know this is going to happen. So I'm less stressed because my routine has allowed for this to work out in my favor. Allows you to sleep better. Now, that's something I'm poor at. Like I go to sleep with different like as you go, well, you're weird because you be up all night, but you sleep like during the day. You low key a vampire. Like, do you have a sleep routine?
For the most, yeah, I usually go to sleep around 2:30, 3 o'clock
See what I'm
on
saying?
most nights. And I wake up around like 10:30
So you
a.m.,
get 8.
11 o'clock. I get my sleep.
Listen. I gotta sound like ass is always so bright and chipper, man. How? But you get 8,
I get my sleep. Yeah. Yeah.
bruh. I ain't got 8. I ain't got 8. I don't even really sleep through the night, to be honest. Like I probably sleep 3 or 4 hours here and there. I mean, truly, I don't sleep that much. Like I can't think of the last time I slept like 11 o'clock and then woke up 8 hours later. You know what I'm saying? Without being interrupted. I don't even know how that would feel. Maybe on vacation, but even then, it's like, you just up, going, doing what you got to do. I haven't had that in a long time. So routines help you eat healthier. So without scheduled time for grocery shopping, it's easier to have an unhealthy diet. That's real.
Very,
Ordering
very real.
fast food or snacks since they are convenient. Because that's true. I think everybody wants to eat healthy and can eat healthy. The problem is when you're hungry, it's just these cookies that's right there.
Right, right.
Or you about to drive by
Or I'm going to
McDonald's
McDonald's.
because it's
Yeah.
open. It ain't never not open. You know what I'm saying? But
That was
Whole
my
Foods is closed.
that's my problem with working nights
Mm,
is, I get off and it's like, oh man, I'm hungry.
yeah.
Let me stop by this drive through real quick. And so in the last couple of months, I've stopped that.
Yeah.
And keeping more healthy things around the
Just
house. So
around you.
if I do get hungry, hey, let me
That's
grab
dope.
this broccoli. You know what I'm saying? Let me get an
Yeah.
avocado. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well,
So
that's dope, man.
yeah,
Applause for you,
yeah,
Ayers. So I remember we had a guest, Takana. She was a chef. I don't remember her. It was like a
yeah.
couple years
Hey,
ago.
I remember that. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so recently she has always preached, I get the Takana's kitchen, I think that's her handle. But she would always she had a whole meal prep thing that she would sell to people. And she put a post up the other day. I don't know if you saw her, like she's down
No,
like 50 pounds.
really.
Yeah, and she was like, I've been to the gym, I eat differently.
Yeah,
And her
yeah.
whole thing is like, let me, let me feed you. That's her tagline. But it was like, she just kind of put on, had a meal prep plan, kind of just routine. Like if you know this food is here, you'll eat it, and you're less likely to eat the bad stuff. It's true. That's my whole thing, man. Like, like when I do the fast for the church or whatever, like I shop in advance and I got everything here so I can do it. But it's like when it's late and I know Red Snapper open and
Yeah.
they got that bussin' fried catfish and them fries, and
It's
they,
so
they go
good,
they go
man.
man, and they gonna be right there waiting for me. Get that
Yes,
hot
sir.
and that mild sauce.
Yes,
It's like,
sir.
hey, but guess because this
And I
because the
want
salad just ain't
and I
hitting
want
right
some
there.
lemon pepperoni.
Hey man, listen.
Yes.
Red Snapper is listen. I miss Red Snapper. I have to like stay away from that dog because I was eating that a couple 3 times a week, man.
Yeah.
But a routine helps you eat healthy. A routine helps you get more active because a lot of times people are like, I don't have time to go to the gym. But like, and I'm a victim of this too. When I hurt my leg, I had to go to physical therapy. I made time for a 2 hour physical therapy appointment twice a week.
Hmm.
Didn't miss not one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if it's something you do on the front end, you won't have to have a major medical thing to happen. But having a routine, like what does it look like? And I think something that you can stick to, right? We do. It's like I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. You're not gonna stick to that. I don't even try it because I know I'm not gonna stick to it. I just say I don't sleep at night. So why would I try to get up at 5?
Right.
I've done that, and I'll be in the gym on the bench, sleep. It's like let me start. And that's the thing too. You can't do a routine. If so, this get active. That's the one we're focusing on. You can't do what you hear other people do, right? I mean, some people, I'm a night person when it comes to working out. You know what I'm saying? I can work out 9:30, 10 o'clock at night and get a nice workout in. You know what I'm saying? Go home, go to bed. Some people are not like that. Some people gotta get up early. Some people are in the middle of the day, what have you. But what are you? You know what I'm saying? You got to figure that out for you and what's going to work, and then keep the routine. My mother always says, "Don't start nothing you can't keep up." I mean, you know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna start this routine, do it in a way that you can keep it up. Like we start out doing things, and that's why we can't keep our routines because we start out doing things we just can't keep up. You like, I'm gonna read a book every day. You're not. You just the math, unless you Cat Williams, is not going to allow you to read a book every day. You know what I'm
Voracious
saying?
reader, that
It's
Cat
just it's
Williams.
just it's just not going to happen, man. So it gives tips to build a routine, kickstart your life. So it says try one thing at a time. Don't feel like you need to change your entire lifestyle all at once, right? That's another problem. People try to shift their whole life, one thing at a time. Make a plan and reframe your thinking. Like it's not a routine doesn't need to be about changing the whole way you live. Like, cause I think also too, like, I mean, there are some people who don't like their life, right? They're like, I need to change my life. And that's a different conversation. That might be a therapy conversation, but it might be like, you know what? I'm always tired or like, I want to lose these pounds. Or I want to, what I'm saying? I want to just try something different. Like you have to think about, you know, what small things can you change, right? To make life a bit more efficient. Like one thing I talked about on the pod before, I've been very cognizant is of not watching TV late. I used to just like say like this X-Men 97. I watch one more episode. It's only 30 minutes. I was like, well, I could be in the bed, I could be taking a shower, I could, ironing my clothes in 30 minutes. And truth be told, this show is gonna be right here when I come back. You know what I'm saying? I would watch this like, I need to watch it now. And it's like, I didn't need to. I mean, I could have waited till the next day. Who was I waiting for? You and I got a pod. If I say, Ed, we're gonna talk about it next week, we're gonna talk about it next week. You know what I'm saying? So who am I rushing for? So, it's like you have to do the small things. Even it's like, for example, I applaud you. Like, listen, I'm eating horrible at night. Let me just have some stuff around me and go. It's a small change. It's gonna have some big dividends. You know what I mean? Just drinking water more than I'm not gonna drink pop all the time. I'm just gonna drink this water. And that's not saying you're not gonna drink juice. The nurses, you're gonna switch that one small thing. I think people underestimate how a small thing can make a big difference in your life. It's like we always want to hit these home runs, like singles, bunts, and doubles win baseball
Small
games
ball.
too.
That's what wins.
You know what I'm
Ask
saying?
ask guys again. That small ball.
Hey man, I mean everything ain't a home run. Everything ain't a I'm losing 20 pounds in a month. I mean, yeah, if you go on the biggest loser and they pay for it and it's sponsored by NBC as a whole big old show and they out yeah, you're gonna lose 20 pounds. But that ain't you, right? If you just you stay consistent with the small things, walking instead of driving, right? Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, not eating a snack today, adding more, or just again for me, talk about going to sleep, just turn the TV off, or like taking, doing stuff in advance, not 1 day, 2 days in advance, and then just like these small things that they seem small to you, but when you look up, it's like, oh, I feel better. I'm less stressed. I'm sleeping more. I'm enjoying my evening. And I think I encourage you guys, like, when you think about your day, do you have a routine? Or are you just kind of waking up and like, oh, let me get this. Oh, let me do this. Because guess what? I know I do that. I've done that. That's been my life. Like, crap, where am I? Where's the what? I'm in the car thinking like, did I leave this? Oh, God, I left it at home. That ain't no way to live, man. It sucks. You want to be able to have and be with your kids. With kids, it's good for them to have a routine. And then we're not talking about being robots, right? I mean, you would agree. Nobody wants to be a robot
No.
and being predictable. But there are some things that, like, I knew someone every day she would drink tea, read a book, do yoga. It's like you couldn't talk to her, you know what I'm saying, unless like those things were done. And I always admired it. It's like this was her thing every day, stuck to her. That's like that's what her life revolved around. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that you have to have something that also your family knows, people respect. So like for example, people who work out in lunch break, like there's some people that, oh, you can't call John. He between 12 and 1:30 he working out. You know what I'm saying? It's like people respect your routine because you respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing you say, I'm gonna do this every day, and then, hey man, come on. It's like you say, Rob, I ain't eating late night. And I go, hey, let's go, man, pick up from work. We're gonna go and rest now. You're like, okay, you just broke your routine for nothing for me, of all people. Come on, man. So yeah, so please, guys, I just want you to consider this article was a Northwestern medicine website, and you guys trust it because it's from Northwestern. Shout out Northwestern. We are both Wildcats.
Rawr. Go Cats.
Whoa, wait, what was that?
I
Round?
said rawr.
No,
You never heard that's what they do.
I just never heard you do it. I was just trying to make it. I had to make sure
I am a Northwestern alum.
that we are
Yeah.
round.
Rawr.
Round. That's how I say it.
Not the manliest cat ever.
Rawr.
Rawr. There you
Rawr.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. So again, it's Autism Awareness Month. Just something I want to highlight. I talked about this on the pod before, so I won't stay on it too long. But just, we talk about it is Autism Awareness Month. I have children that are diagnosed with autism. One thing I want to just highlight for people is we when we think about autism, we think about small children, right, with autism. But there are adults that live with autism, and it's a challenge for them trying to get work, right? Because to have autism again is how you process the world. You process it differently than most people. So there are sometimes accommodations that can be made at your job. If you have autism, so for example, like if you have a project, they say, well, every day you might have to leave at a certain time every day because that helps you with the routine. Like for example, we actually just talked about routine, but for the most part, people don't really leave work the same time every day, right? You kind of leave 5:01, 5:03, 4:58, 5:15. A person who's autistic might need to leave the same time every day because that's the part of the routine that helps them feel some level of control for the day. So you need to, so as an employer, you have to make that accommodation. But here's the trick, right? Because some people may feel like if I tell you I have autism, will you even hire me? because now you feel like you have to make these accommodations for me. And so then you might not want to deal with it. So you just take somebody who may be comparable to me, may not have the skills I have, but in your mind, you're thinking, well, they're quote unquote easier because they don't have autism. I don't have to make these accommodations. But if you don't tell them, right, and they think you don't need accommodations, and now you're having struggles at work, and it's like, what the heck is wrong with you? And not, you're trying to be something that you are not, right? So that's what the challenge can be. I know Autism Speaks, they have a part of their website, they have like a job search portal for adults who have autism, like a place they can look for jobs and locations. I know like Trader Joe's does it, the Jewel that's up the street, that's grocery store street from the house. They have children that adults that are diverse learners. They're bagging groceries, and I tell it, and I mean it, man. Like if Brooklyn got to a job where she was bagging groceries, I still do. I'd be proud if she was a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what she been through. I know what she dealing with, and it's like if she was able to get a job, hold on, cry is if she would have get a job and she just bagging groceries, I would be at Jewel every day buying all that expensive stuff that they have. You know what I'm saying? Just because, and I applaud companies that do that because, to a degree, everybody needs some kind of accommodation, be it, you're a parent, you gotta leave early, or, you are a diverse learner, you need the lights to be lower, you have to have certain projects. We all have accommodations. There are just some that's more accepted than others. So just something to think about as we have Autism Awareness Month. Because again, it's not just children, there are adults with autism, and they are also they have to feed themselves, and they have to provide food, clothing, shelter, and probably not just for them but for other people. You never know the situation, right? So again, just something to be thoughtful of, and also thoughtful about people that you work with. Like you might be with a person or work with a person that may come off as quote unquote weird, and maybe they are autistic and just don't take the angle of not telling anybody because they didn't want to be pigeonholed. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, even before I had children with autism, I was always somewhat patient with people. It just kind of dropped in my spirit. Like, you just don't know what these people are dealing with at the crib. And if they being weird or mean, did you do anything to them? Well, it's not me. I just do that a long time ago. It's not me. I didn't make you mad or upset. So you mad about something else. So I think that's something we should just be considerate of as we go to the workplace. Like, you never know what people are like, as much as it take them to get to work, right? And what they're dealing with, and they can't always show because we're not friends at work. We work together. We're coworkers, right? You're not friends yet. And people that are mindful and don't know what this information will do to harm them because it might harm their livelihood. So again, it's Autism Awareness Month. Go to Autism Speaks to learn more. Again, say just be mindful of who's around you and what's happening, and just keep these folks in your thoughts. So that's that. So Ez, what's our to be recommendation for the week, sir? You got one?
I do have one.
Oh boy. Now listen, last week I talked about kids and you went strip tease. I was like, what? So what you got this week, man?
Tubi movie of the week. It is called Only a Few Fans.
Oh. Okay.
Think about that title.
Gotcha. Listen,
Only a few fans. But check this out, though.
Mhm.
It's got a couple people you might recognize.
Alexis Fields.
It stars. No, she's not in it. Sorry,
She's not because it'd be the
no.
number one movie.
That would that wouldn't be a bad idea. I bet she could pull that one off. But no, she's not in this movie. Does the name Khalil Kain mean anything to you?
Okay, no. Sure. I know who Khalil Kain
Khalil
is.
Kain played Raheem in the movie Juice.
What?
Yeah. He also had one of the greatest movie lines ever in Love Jones.
Mm.
Girl, you tripping. I'm going to give me some toasted oats. One of my favorite movie lines.
I know, again, we talk about it because you and I, we real on the pod. And we know that, like, Fox owns Tubi. Probably, and it's like, well, where else can we watch this content?
Where else is this
Because
good content?
BET Plus is not owned by Black people. I'm not watching Swag TV. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's probably we need Dr. Williams for something like that. Just because that's what do you do, right? What's true to the culture? Because I mean, this is allowing people to make films.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's allowing people who have aspirations to be filmmakers to have a platform. And I mean, do we build it ourselves? Okay, what happens if what's getting returns? That's just a longer discussion we're gonna have, but we're gonna keep giving you these Tubi
Yeah.
recommendations.
Also in this
Tubi.
movie, by the way, Jamal Woolard, who played Biggie in Notorious.
Yo, every time I think about that, I think about just the scene with the girl from Power, and it's like she really naked on screen. I remember in the movie being like, "Whoa, this is wild, man." So it's just gave a thumbs
All right.
up. Oh boy, see, I gotta do this autism awareness bit early because it just get.
You brought that up. I didn't bring that up.
You talking
I
about the
just
singing
said
movie, bro.
the cat that played Biggie
That's
in
fair.
Notorious is in the movie. What is it called? Only a Few Fans.
Facts. Rare.
That was all
Right.
you.
You right.
That was all you, man. You the one bringing up.
It was you last week. It's me this week. So maybe the third week we'll finally get it together. Jeez.
But no, check it out. It's
only a few fans. Okay.
Only a Few Fans. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll put it there. I'm not gonna give away the plot.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have no BET Plus recommendation this week. Just keep watching Diaria from Detroit. The latest episode. So that's a great show.
And watch Dutch 2. My cousin Miles Schroeder is on there. Yes.
Watch Dutch. We gotta watch Dutch 1, right?
Yeah,
you gotta watch both of them?
Yeah, you probably you don't have to watch Dutch 1. I think you figure, but it would help.
Yeah.
You can watch Dutch 1 and then watch Dutch 2. They're both on there.
Yeah, we all about supporting Black content on the Super Duper Pod. So thank you for checking us out today. We do not take your listens lightly. We are internationally known, locally respected. Make sure you follow us online at hp53productions.com and also on all our socials at Super Duper Pod, SUPADUPAPOD. What up, Sarah? As I miss anything?
No, I think you covered it all.
Make sure you like, review, share, subscribe, listen with your mom, with your kids in the car, because we try not to cuss for that very reason. Just in case you're out with your kids, you can let the show play. I mean, it's some suggestive things we discuss, but the kids ain't listening no way. They only hear cuss words. Especially the cuss words, and they all is. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for checking us out. Make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Hey, mama, this is the Super Duper Podcast.
Champagne from you and I. Wait, you a vibe? Now that's champagne if you was I. Would you be off on this campaign? Is it suicide? If you know that bringing hope here is how careers die. Or do the K stand for kamikaze? The J silent is everywhere, you can feel them probably. Surely, lately, I've been up late with demons in my basement trying to get me to hate this. Life thinking I should be further and then I choke up. As soon as I got silent, then the truth spoke up. This said, how you know you ain't perfect? Let that soak up and soak in. You know how you know that you're blessed? I woke up.